Hi, welcome back to our online preparation course for the TOEFL test. This time we are going to continue getting prepared for the reading section. In this module, we are going to be covering transition questions. Do you remember that I told you that the passages that are included in the reading section of the TOEFL test are not complete passages? Do you remember that I told you that they are excerpts taken from articles or from books or from websites? Okay, this is related to transition questions, and it is important that you understand this in order for you to really understand why transition questions happen. Okay, so when we have transition questions, we can think about two different kinds: preceding questions and following questions. When you have a question that is related to preceding information, they are asking you about information that would have appeared in the previous paragraph. When they ask you for following information, they are talking about information that may have appeared after the passage that you can read. So, it is important that you understand that neither the preceding information nor the following information will appear on the passage, right? So again, you will have to infer information in order to get to know what information was before or what information was after. Let's look at an example. This question, right, is related to preceding information. So, remember, we never read complete passages. We start by reading the first question. So, the question says, the paragraph preceding this passage most probably discusses. Okay, so if you notice, they are asking you about the information that would have appeared before the first paragraph. Okay, so what do we do in order to determine the information before the first paragraph that you can read? Okay, so what we have to do? We have to read the information on the first line. The information on the first line is going to show to us connections, right, to what could have been mentioned in the previous passage. So, for example, in this case, right, we have four options. We have the youth of David Jones, David Jones' career as a sailor, a different traditional story from the sea, preparing to travel on the ocean. Okay? So, remember, they are asking you for the paragraph preceding this passage. So, because of the connection, another myth of the oceans, we can infer that the paragraph preceding this paragraph, right, is a different traditional story from the sea. We know that a myth is a story. And as we have another myth, is because surely they already mentioned another myth in the previous paragraph. Okay? So, this is when they ask you about preceding paragraphs. Okay? Let's continue with following information or the following paragraph. What information is presented in the following paragraph? Again, they are asking you for information that you cannot read, but you have to infer from the information presented in the last paragraph, right? So, let's see. The question is, the topic of the paragraph following the passage most likely is. So, the following passage. So that means that we have to read the last line of the last paragraph. Okay, so it says, needless to say, any sailor on the seas is not so eager to take a tour of David Jones' locker, although it might be a rather interesting trip considering all the treasures located there. So if you notice, we have four options to answer the question. We have A, valuable items located at the bottom of the ocean; B, where David Jones is found today; C, Jonah and the whale, and D, preventing objects from falling overboard. So, if we take into consideration the information that we have on the last line of the last paragraph, the answer is A, valuable items located at the bottom of the ocean. Why? Because it says it might be a rather interesting trip considering all the treasures, valuable items, located there, right? So that is the information that is going to appear in the next paragraph. What are some common questions that we can find when we are asked about transition questions? When it is about preceding information, yeah, we have the question, the paragraph preceding the passage, probably when it is related to following information, yeah, the question could be, what is most likely in the paragraph following the passage? So let's review the process that we need to follow in order to be able to answer these transition questions. When we have preceding questions, remember, we read the first line of the first paragraph, we draw a conclusion about what comes before it, and we choose the answer that is reflected in the first line of the passage. Okay? When it is about following questions, we read the last line of the paragraph, we draw a conclusion about what comes after it, and we choose the answer that is reflected in the last line of the passage. Most of the times students get really confused with these questions because they cannot understand that the information they are asking in transition questions is not present on the passages, right? You cannot read this information. You have to infer. You have to read between lines. You have to find important words that will help you really know what information was presented before the first paragraph or after the last paragraph. Okay? So, go to the practice section and be sure to practice these strategies in order to answer transition questions correctly. Good luck. Bye-bye.